Hi, beautiful beings under the stratosphere. Thanks for joining me for the review of the Melinda Loo blueprint, or the 4 pillars of success. It also has the LMT success blueprint. This is her initial small package that she offers. I'm going to give a slight review of that. And then also I took the one-on-one training, and I have also a brief description of that. And if all you're looking for is a little bit of orientation of some feedback that's outside of the website, which is I think what I would have liked to have found to have a better perspective and make a better choice maybe, was that there wasn't any, that no one else had said anything, that there's nothing written anywhere. So that, alongside with another reason that when I was reading, I fell down a rabbit hole with someone and they were talking about something that had happened to them. And I said, oh goodness, maybe it is of value and important to research and just share what happened to you, just por si las moscas, as they say, no? Just in case. So I really liked the blueprint. At the time I paid $495 for the blueprint. It has 16 videos in it. Now you can find it online. I did the research for you so your review can be complete, and it's only $300, or you can do 2 payments of $175, which that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. I got one idea out of there that was able to pay for the course. So in light of that, for me, that's successful. Now, if I get one thing out of the thing that helps me pay for the thing, yay, right? Thumbs up. So there's only the 16 videos though, but I like how she has it. She has it set up in 4 segments. So you go through, I have them here. Let me find them for you. All right. They're mindset, business, self-care, and technique. I went into my course to see if it was still active today, and those are the same ones there, to see if she had updated, added any PDF activity or something. So all you get are those 16 videos, which I think they had pretty much good value. The mindset is really good and interesting, and the sales strategies was good, which was where I got the one idea. And there's no homework. So that, for some of us, that can be yay. For some of us, maybe we need this to get things done. And there's no follow through or checklist. You're kind of on your own. So in comparison to the PFA training, which is the Pole Fitness Alliance training, I paid for the Pole Fitness Alliance $499. Almost the same price. I paid for hers $495. This was $499. You get, I don't know, dozens of videos. It has the manual, the level 1 training. You get your certification course checklist, and you also get your level 1 study guide. Now I know it's different this year, teaching you an actual physical modality. I mean, you could look at all the visuals, the pictures, and every single one of these has a video online. And every time you turn in a homework, you get feedback directly from the instructor. So you have the back and forth almost weekly, daily, and you get a certification from that. So I did this training afterwards. When I compared to myself, that I said, wow, this one's valued, let's say they're both worth 500, right? 500 for 16 videos, or 500 for I did buy the book separately, but it has a book. There's all the PDFs. Every single video has its explanation underneath, and they have the homeworks and the assignments. And I said, there's a lot more value in investment, and this obviously has been created by someone who knows how to make curriculum. So it depends what you're looking for. I just give you the example there of the difference of price range by what you're going to get. So yeah, other than that, I didn't know anything else. After I took that first blueprint training, I traveled back home. And then while I was away, you get to join the group and stuff. I saw some of her interviews with the success stories of the therapist. So then I decided it would be a great idea to do the one-on-one. And when I returned to the United States. So I had that in my mind, but I didn't know how I was going to finance it. I think before I came back, or maybe a year or so before, the interview that we saw, the woman took out a loan for $6,000 to pay for the training. And I said, oh my gosh, it must be so worth it, right? If people are taking out a loan of $6,000, and now the course was at $4,000. So I said, I can totally do it. And if it results like in the first training that I took with her, then all good, right? That you'll make it back with 1 or 2 implementations from the course, and you'll make back the money. In my head, I'll be like, oh, I'll be making $4,000 every month then from then on. That was my idea. So I was very excited, and I think it could have happened, but I think I didn't have I was not the right demographic. I didn't meet the requirements, but there's no requirements required, right? So anyone can sign up. That you will have to decide on your own if you think it's for you or not. So the simple version of the one-on-one, you will pay $4,000, or if you get in with a deal, I got in with a deal with a discount of the other blueprint that I took, and I got it for $3,505. You will pay a user agreement. So I signed a document where it states that there are no refunds and no warranties, and a list of other things, right? And the moment you pay, nothing happens. By the way, I was expecting an email, a welcome to the course, like something, right? Like, okay, like most places you pay, they transfer you, there was nothing, right? So don't get shocked if that happens. There is nothing. Apparently, you only schedule and book 16 calls. So it's for 4 months, 16 calls. If you actually paid the $4,000, that will be $250 each, the value of each of your calls. With my discount, it came to $219 per call. I'll give you the pros. I have 3 pros and 3 cons of the one-on-one. The pro is that it's simple. It's just a call, and it's freestyle. So you don't have to prepare anything that you're going to do or say specifically. It's just like if you were talking with a friend, which takes me to the pro of number 2. It's like, Melinda's super easy to talk to. So back and forth, no problem. I really liked her as a person. So that's a pro, because who wants to work with someone that is not so fun to talk to? That doesn't make sense. And I liked it that the goals were adaptable. No, the first call, she wanted to go for $8,000. And after we spoke for a little while, she was willing to switch around. I say, well, can we, modify that goal to a number of clients maybe that we want to get in? I realize that it is a money goal. I have 3 businesses back home in Bolivia, so I wasn't very much here for the fact of how are we going to run the business, but I wanted to hear someone's perspective of how am I going to run a massage business in the United States according to a 6-figure massage therapist. I was very intrigued by what the outlook was from here, because how you run businesses back home in my country is a totally different thing. And here, normally I had always just worked for someone. I hadn't gone out and done it on my own and done all those little details. So those are my pros. My cons are, even though it's simple, the con of that is that there is actually no plan. So there's no charts like you saw in the PFA. There's no checklists. There's no strategy. It's kind of maybe an agreement that you're going to make with her that goes shifting throughout the calls of what you're going to do, but there's no really way to go about it. There's no deadlines. It's kind of like, let's see what of this happens or you make happen till the next call. That's just kind of how it was. The second con was that it didn't provide what the course said. So I signed up because this at least is what was offering when I signed up last year. Last year, this month, I think it was around March 7th, is that I enrolled to this course. You will get weekly one-on-one coaching calls where we define and achieve your goals together over 4 months. So that's the one thing that took place. 12 done for you social media posts. Those were not done when I went. As I said, when you go in, you don't receive anything. 4 done for you marketing emails. Tech support for your software, apps, and website. And then she has 2 kinds of prices. That is her next thing. Now, these things surface later on because I mentioned them, I think, in the second or the third call. And she said that the done for you emails and done for you social media posts, she would tailor them to your business once she got a feeling of how your business was. So I think there it was like, but I thought you already knew how it was done. You could adapt it to my business, but that could have been done the moment I sign up. You can go and look on my website or talk with me, or like, even if they were going to change over time, I was under the impression that these would be given to me. And even though I was asked to post in Facebook groups and do all this movement on Facebook, because that's how I believe she did it in the past, I had to create those posts myself. And I said, here I am spending all this time creating these posts, and supposedly those were included. Like, it should be like, here's a template, change it, fill it in, send it back to me, show me what it looks like, and then go ahead and post it, because these are the key, like, what are the key words, what's going to make the magic movement, right? So I was all for it, except I had to go do it on my own, even though it was included. So I kind of brought that up, and that's what she told me. I asked them for tech support once, and it's her partner that does the tech support. So I don't think he knows more than what an average person knows about technology. At least that was in my case. I had opened my new Facebook page in profiles instead of pages. And I'm not allowed to post ads from a profile page. It has to be in a pages page. So I spent at least 2 or 3 weeks. At first I thought it'll be resolved easily, and I didn't work on it much. And then it made no sense to keep creating and putting things on that page if I wasn't going to be able to launch from there. I did have a call with him, and I'm not saying they didn't try to help, but they couldn't help, and I had to figure it out on my own. So I said, well, they try to help you the moment I was on the call with him, but I don't feel like there was any extra time or research being done, because I finally found it myself. For your own information, if that ever happens to you, you cannot transfer a profile to a pages. You have to delete your profile that you opened, and you have to open a new account. And if you look that up, because now it's been almost over a year, I don't remember, but there is a step-by-step video on how you can do this. So good that you catch it early if you do. So that was not provided. And I believe that the course is not made for starting therapists in the therapeutic field. I believe that this course would be more optimal, and is more optimal, for therapists who have already been around a while, have at least 50 to 100 clients, And their issue is that they're having either a blockage with their skill or their passion for massage therapy and they feel uncomfortable raising their rates. But their issue is not that they don't have people. So I entered the training having only 9 clients because I am a new therapist. So yeah. And then that's why we did the modifying at the beginning when she said, let's aim for 8K. And I'm like, that would be like I'd have to extract $1,000 from each of my clients for the first month, right? And then what do I do the second month, even if I could make that happen? So I knew, and what I wanted, I said, I realized people have to come for the session, and I wanted to learn how to manage Google ads or Facebook ads. I knew that it could happen, but I realized that I was at a disadvantage in the fact that I didn't have very many clientele at the time. But unfortunately, Melinda herself doesn't do the marketing aspect. She outsources that. So she couldn't help, even though I considered that. I thought that was the tech part that was included in the 4K course, which for me would make sense, right? But she said no, she outsources that. And even one time where she had them collect emails and get people's emails that she paid someone, and they did it, and then it created a great email list, but I don't know how many of those became clients or not. So any of those things that she did, she outsourced it. It was good for me to know that I'm like, oh, okay, I can just hire someone to do this or this or this or this. But I really wanted to learn how to manage the Google. It was interesting for me. So there I thought about it, and I said, maybe what I needed was to buy a Google training and not a one-on-one coaching for it, right? Maybe what I was needing was something different. So in summary, I give the Blueprint course 3 stars because there's not much there, but you can get something out of it if you're not getting if you don't have people that are in the uplifting massage therapy lineage, which is what I embrace. I believe in that. I think that is the right direction. That has tremendous value, the work we do. So 3 stars for that. And then 1 star for the one-on-one, just because I don't think it was that it was a person thing. I just think that the curriculum, the methodology, the planning, the fact that these things were not available. And I said, well, she must have hundreds of emails. All she had to do was like put together 4 and send me 4 and say, try these, just to comply with having the promised things. The promised things. I can't talk. To have the promised, what are these called? I'm going to think. I'm going to go with products. The promised products now that are said to come with it. So I would say if you're somewhere in the middle of your massage therapy career and you think it's taking a dip or you're losing steam and you have the money, if you have the cash floating around, that can be an interesting journey to have with someone, to have the feedback, to go back and forth. If you're starting out, I would say definitely no. I believe what has happened after over 20 some years that Melinda has been a massage therapist, more probably now. One, the ways her mentors and how it was done before obviously have changed for today. But also the accumulation of of clients that naturally progresses over that many years makes it seem like, but there's so much that can be done. And sometimes forgetting, imagine what it's like, you know, to start from zero on your own. And I'm not even from the town where I work, so it's not like I even called on all my friends. Now, I know she also moved to a new location and was starting again from zero and building from there. So for sure, it's possible, but I was needing a little bit more support with what I thought would be in the package. And yeah, it wasn't there. So that's my review. That's the end of my review. Is it running? Yes, it is. I thought it stopped. And if you want to stick around for some more detail, I'm going to read you. I found in my files of the training that I did with her a letter of feedback that I had written. I had written for 3 days the feedback of the call for myself and for the course, like just to get out of my head so I wasn't thinking about it. And I thought that could be interesting because it could give you a detail maybe of what the call, what your first call might be like. So we'll close this and we'll go, where's this letter of feedback? And then I didn't know what to do with all the feedback, because what happened was after the third call, I realized that this training was not for me. But I had signed the document that says no refund, no warranties. And I was willing to just give Melinda the money. I said, I'll just end it here. I won't waste her time or mine, and let it go. So I canceled after the third call, and then she insisted that, okay, so then we'll do the call next week. And I'm like, oh, I'll let you know. And I didn't know how to put it off. And I also have here I wrote a letter that I was going to send her to say thank you, but it didn't work out. On the third call, I did tell her, I said, this is what I was expecting from the course, but that's not what is available to me. So let's get out of it what you can offer me. Since the tech wasn't there for me, there was no planning with no checklist. I did all the Facebook things that was done, you know, there was just, it was just very random. And I had all these different things to do accumulated from the calls that I had taken notes. And I didn't really see where was her direction going with the one-on-one. Anyway, all right. So we did a voice call. Also, all the calls are on the phone, and I was expecting, I think Zoom calls would be much more pleasant for doing a training that you can look at the person and see their facial expression. I think I would have had a better connection maybe if we would have seen each other, because this felt like, sometimes I felt like maybe she's driving in her car or washing the dishes or something. I don't know. You know, like, I want someone to take me seriously. I paid serious money for this, so let's sit down and we'll do it. You know, I set apart my day for this call, and I thought that was minimum. So these are things also you can think of to look for when you're looking for a next training, and ask these questions. Now, how will the phone call be, you know? Number 2, there was no introductory page or PDF, nothing. I was expecting her to tell me on the first call, I've sent you a link, go here, we're going to look at this plan. Nothing. What are we going to work on first? There was no choice board to pick from. I felt I had to redirect the conversation back to business. Because I remember on this first call, I talked about that I give massage therapy at my home. And I don't know how the detail got in there that my home address is on the website, because the people have to come to my home. And she went off for almost 30 minutes of my call on all the self-projected fears that she had about having your business at home, and all the things that it will imply. And without me even, I was already giving massage throughout the schooling, and with my Thai massage certification at home. I was not questioning whether it was going to be at home or not. It had to be at home because I'm single mom, and so I was making the container for being able to work while I'm at home and my daughter is at home, or else I have to pay for childcare if I'm going to go work somewhere else. So I don't know where even she got lost in there. I had to comfort her, and I felt I had to convince her and let her know that it was okay for my address to be on the website. So that was a little bit strange. And I thought my feedback was better to ask before she went into her whole rant, do you have an issue with your address on the site? I would have said no, and we would have been done with the topic, no? Okay. I like that in that moment, she got online and she looked up Facebook pages or groups that I could join. And then I could do that further. But I did feel like I already paid her the money several days ago. So if I'm doing one-on-one with someone, I'm going to research this person, their business, their town. And I felt throughout the training that she was only willing to spend the time of the hour. Even the time that I canceled the third call, then she said, I'll take that hour to, I think, either write the emails or do the done for you Facebook posts. And I was like, you're going to take my paid time to produce a product for the course that was already promised to me on the moment that I paid it. So, and then after she said that she would take that time, it never got sent. I think we even had a call and then another call, and then she sent the email with the emails in it. She didn't have any comment to improve my website. I thought that was strange. For me, that's a really strong landing page for many of the clients. And even if it was going to be all good, say something. I like this, I like that. I mean, I visited it. There was no comment. And this at the end, I said, I shouldn't feel like I'm leading the asks. I should feel more like I'm receiving, like in the blueprint. So in the blueprint, you receive the information and you're like, okay, I'm going to apply. But here it was kind of like, so what are you doing? Right? So she would ask me, I did this, I did that. And she would be like, great, great. And here's one other little weird sensitive note, since we're going into the details. When I decided that I wasn't going to work with her anymore, and I took those like 2 weeks of a break that I didn't want to have the call, and I realized, well, I can't get my money back, so I might as well listen to her for an hour. And you can imagine, like, I had to do some yoga there in my head to be like, okay, I'm going to listen for an hour, be neutral about it. It's not her fault that her program is not for me. And I signed a document, right? So I just listened. And then all these posts, because I started following her social media and everything, all these posts came up about self-sabotaging. And because I had withdrawn energetically from adding to the phone, it wasn't what I needed. So I said, I might as well just listen. I wanted her to give. I'm paying for her to give, not for me to deliver, right? I can deliver for myself. I was, in my mind, paying to receive thoughts and input from someone who's an expert in the industry. And so I would just say one or two phrases to initiate the role of a topic and let her talk, basically, and listen to her. And then when the 60 minutes were up, I was like, okay, I gotta go. And I would just hang up, and maybe I got one or two things, and in that time she got around to doing the Facebook posts and sending them to me at some time. But that was tough for me to see how your interaction with the person training you is not just for you. Like, you are content, you are material for this person, for them to use for posts. Now you say, it could be sensitive of me to be like, oh, it was directed to me. Maybe it wasn't directed to me. But I think she actually said something to me. I mean, the only person who knows, obviously, is herself. But she said something to me in one of the calls that about that I didn't need to, like, not to lose impulse, that you're going to be able to do it. And then she told me, this one really threw me off. She said, I'm still cheering for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it came down to. No, I paid for a $3,505 cheerleader that was cheering for me. And oh my gosh, I am so motivated. You know what was, obviously, imagine the drain where I had to just listen to the call. And then I said, I paid this money. In total, I paid $4,000. So I'm going to make this happen without her. So I had to go and kind of not say what I was doing to accomplish the things, because I was doing them. I said, anything that I came up with that she didn't tell me to do, or that she didn't say, why would I gift her this strategy or this information? I felt like I had become a provider, not only for her social media posts, but also for ideas. Meanwhile, I was listening to other therapist trainers that were giving me really good information, because that's what I was into at the time. And I was like, wow, and I'm getting these other sources for free. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I finished paying off that loan in January, even though I was able to make that amount of money in the 4 months that I was with her training. I used that to pay off some credit card debts that I had from my flights back home and coming back up. And it was actually the money that my father was sending me while I was here getting started and going up. So I couldn't even bring myself to start to pay off. You know, it was hard, the transition afterwards. Once the thing ended, I was able to start to pay off that loan, because almost like paying off the loan was like I was giving this money to that time that I had spent. I know most of you are thinking, oh my gosh, why did you do that? You should have just demanded the money back or whatever. But there is a cultural difference, I think, within me, where I think we feel when we come from a Latin culture, or I would call like a softer culture, we just submit to the circumstances of what it is. Like my friend said when I told her, she's like, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And I said, this was a costly lesson for me. I didn't even take my last call because it seemed pointless. I said, I'm not even going to suffer the last one. And then she sent me an email. So you get an email at the end of what she considers are all the things that you accomplished. And yeah, I looked at that list and I said, I think maybe 1 or 2 of those had her influence had on me, and not the rest. So that would be the conclusion of the one-on-one. And I think, seriously, now I've gone from 9 clients, now I have over 60 clients in a year. I checked around with some people to see what they thought, and those apparently are really good numbers. I don't know, I can't tell, I don't know what to measure it with, but I had one friend who told me, she's like, she worked at one place for 5 years and she only walked away with 50 clients. So I guess in her perspective, having 60 or more is yay for 1 year. So now things are much different. I didn't make it to the 8K, which was the goal. I think if I stayed in the United States a bit longer, that would probably happen. I got up to 5K in January. And yeah, all I can say is trust your gut. Maybe have a phone call first. Look at what is offered. Know what you need. I was an educator for 15 years, so not having curriculums or PDFs or a plan or a checklist or anything seemed pretty thin ice. But I was still willing to do it because of the experience I had with the first blueprint. All right, beautiful beings. That's what I got for you. I hope this was useful for you, since I think there's still nothing out there about this training. And onward, and may you have lots of joy and prosperity and many clients to come. Bye-bye.